Chapter 72, Be Buried with North Gate. Ran Jing's wrist was hurting from being grabbed, and she immediately said, I know you want him to be your boyfriend, you don't have to make it known to everyone, okay? It's just a bet between us. Shen Yao said in excitement, no, I meant I'm going to court him right now. Yeah, get him to be your boyfriend so you can dump him later. Shen Yao, no, I will skip the dumping part. If he proposes to me, then I will just play dumb and agree. Ran Jing's eyes narrowed, and she nudged Shen Yao's elbow. What happened? Shen Yao didn't say anything but just looked at Su Cheng on the stage. Lin Chuxue frowned as she heard everything Shen Yao said. She was also looking at Su Cheng. Su Cheng slowly walked towards Gate Master Yan. On his way, over 100 North Gate thugs stood up and shouted warnings at him, what do you think you are doing? They thought Su Cheng wanted to completely end Gate Master Yan, so they all nervously got up and began shouting. Su Cheng stopped in his tracks and turned around to look at them. Can't accept defeat now. He already lost, just let him go. The North Gate members were all getting anxious. The other three gates would usually still show them some respect because of Gate Master Yan's influence. If their boss really dies, then North Gate would be scattered like a plate of sand with nothing to rely on. The other three gates definitely wouldn't look after them or offend the police for them. Gate Master Yan was their hope, and at first, they thought they would win for sure. Let him go. Su Cheng sneered, which bastard said I didn't dare to hit back? I was just showing him how hard I can hit back. Then, Su Cheng came to Gate Master Yan, who was already lingering on the verge of death. He stepped onto Gate Master Yan's palm, triggering a hoarse yet sharp miserable scream. How dare you! The 100 of North Gate members all went berserk. They didn't even dare to think about how miserable their future would be without their boss. Today, not only was their boss defeated, he was even humiliated to this degree. This scene immediately ignited their hot temper, and the iron gates couldn't block them at all as they all charged up onto the stage. Su Cheng roared, come on, you scum! Today, let me completely erase North Gate from Shangcheng. The order at the stadium directly burst into chaos. The police director looked towards Li Dazhuang and the others and scolded, what are you guys still waiting for? Hurry and evacuate the audience first. You guys are the special police force, go and call for backup to take care of these thugs. Li Dazhuang nodded. Along with those from the military, they began evacuating the unrelated people that just came here to watch the show. Inside the iron gates, Su Cheng was greeting with people coming at him from all sides. He didn't get to fight to his heart's content at all earlier, so he didn't go easy on those people at all. Some people's face were smashed by his fist and rotated 180 degrees, with most of their teeth smashed away. The sound of bones breaking were constantly heard. Su Cheng's punches didn't sound like they landed on the other's flesh but rather their bones. Along with the noises of bone cracking, the scene was also filled with angry roars and miserable cries. Hello miss, please leave this place. The police will come in and restore order right away. Wang Ying came over to evacuate Lin Chuxue and the other two. Ran Jing took out her badge and implied that she would be staying behind to help out. She said to Lin Chuxue and Shen Yao, you two go back first. Shen Yao looked at those waves after waves of people besieging Su Cheng and how they were sent flying as their bodies crashed into the iron fences. The stage's floor was immediately covered with disabled North Gate members. Shen Yao really wanted to stay behind to spectate longer, but she was warned by Wang Ying. She had no choice, but as she turned around and walked a few steps with Lin Chuxue towards the exit, Lin Chuxue suddenly turned around and no longer wanted to leave. Looking at Su Cheng who was busy fighting that chaotic battle, she said to Ran Jing and the others, I'm not leaving. Wherever Su Cheng's fists and kicks traveled to, there were loud sounds of pa 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 bam bam bam. His slaps could directly send someone off their feet. Some guy suddenly jumped onto his back and attempted to strangle him to death, but Su Cheng just grabbed him off his back and threw him onto the ground, leaving behind a punch in the face as a parting gift. That guy's face was completely broken as blood spewed out from his shattered nose. 7 people suddenly jumped into the air towards Su Cheng, who was on one knee. Su Cheng roared and stood straight up, and anyone that came into contact with him was sent flying away by the powerful force. Suddenly, a steel pipe smashed towards him from behind. Su Cheng just lifted his arm and directly blocked that steel pipe, even deforming it. Su Cheng also felt the pain as he frowned. Then, he grabbed onto the steel pipe and threw it away, along with the guy that was holding onto it. He then threw a roundhouse kick at 3 more people coming at him, hitting their lower half. Those people's knees and leg bones were immediately broken as they fell to the ground and cried miserably. Su Cheng just loved treating people with the means they deserved. These members of North Gate were all a bunch of criminals that had destroyed countless people's lives and families, committing all kinds of crimes over the years, and he had already tolerated them for too long. Since he was given the opportunity today, he didn't mind using it to teach all of them a brutal lesson. Just like how he liked to deal with things back in the military, if someone was gonna reason with him, then he will convince them with his words. If someone was going to use force, then I'm sorry, let's see who's more brutal. Within just 10 minutes, the chaos at the stadium was already dying. Where Su Cheng stood, there were miserable thugs in pain all over the floor around him. They were all covered in blood, and many of them already went unconscious. And then, on the other side, there were a little group of North Gate members huddled together, staring at Su Cheng in anger, but also fear. Well, mostly fear. Su Cheng's face and body were also stained with blood, but they were all from other people. He panted as he looked at the remaining thugs that still stood and said, "Come on, don't you guys like to ignore the law and use violence? Don't you guys despise the law and love to decide on things with your fists? Then come on, today let's just throw all the laws out and play with our brute strength. Just don't go crying to your mommies." Those guys were all terrified of him. They all wanted to charge up but didn't dare. They looked at each other and grew more and more nervous as Su Cheng shouted. At this moment, a big batch of special police units surrounded the stadium. Completely armed, they pointed their guns at the members of North Gate. "Drop your weapons," Ran Jing coldly said toward the people inside the gate. It wasn't like those thugs really had big balls or something. They were just a bunch of hot-blooded young men that liked to fight. In the face of the cold gun barrels, they all went down onto the ground with their hands behind their head. In fact, Su Cheng already scared them shitless, and they were only holding up until now to preserve whatever was left in their dignity. Seeing them all giving up, Su Cheng felt his energy depleted as well as he sat down onto the floor, panting heavily with his mouth wide open. Just as he lowered his guard, among the people, Gate Master Yan picked up a dagger from an unconscious thug and slowly crawled towards Su Cheng. Then, using the last bit of strength left, he stabbed towards Su Cheng. "Su Cheng, be careful!" Lin Chugxiu and Shen Yao, who were determined to stay, immediately shouted as their faces lost color. Su Cheng was really too mentally and physically drained. Just as he turned around, Gate Master Yan was already before him. He just felt a chilly wave in his belly, and the dagger was already deeply inserted into him. Bam! Ran Jing immediately fired a shot, and Gate Master Yan directly fell to the ground, with a faint smile on his face. "Be buried with North Gate." And then, his eyes lost color and he no longer moved. Su Cheng also dropped onto the floor, and he looked at the ceiling of the stadium as his consciousness faded.